All right, welcome back. We are live with the Sports Business Virtual Summit today, and not today, but this second, we have NFTs, which I'm sure everyone is interested. If you're talking about sports and business, you're interested in NFTs from some capacity. We've got an artist, Blake. I don't know, I pointed up, he's up on mine. And we've got Tony, who's part of MakersPlace. Welcome, gentlemen. Let's go around the room really quickly, just give a little background on yourselves, and then we'll dive into what NFTs actually is.
After you, Blake.
All right. What's up, guys? My name is Blake Jamieson. I am a full-time artist based in Brooklyn, New York, originally from the Bay Area in California, just north of San Francisco. Worked in digital marketing for a long time until I was 30 and decided at 30 to kind of quit that career and stop building other people's dreams and start building my own. And so I started painting full-time, and I am 36 now. So I've been at it for 6 years and super happy to wake up every day and get to do the things that I love to do. I think that although I didn't go to art school, my background in digital marketing and kind of brand building and community engagement on behalf of other people's brands has really helped me, I guess, differentiate myself in the art space. And I definitely take it as a very, I treat it like a business. And so I have a niche in my ideal customers and really try and run it like any other business would run a startup. And so what I found is I landed in working with professional athletes. And so I painted 400 portraits for athletes in the NFL, MLS, NBA, MLS, PLL, WNBA, every league. And it's really cool to be able to work with people who do amazing things. There's amazing photos of them to work off of as an artist. And they're also really competitive with each other. So when one guy gets a painting, the next guy wants a bigger painting. And so that's helped really kind of, I think, catapult my business is having that focus. And when NFTs came on the scene, because of my background in tech and marketing, I was immediately drawn to them, both for what it can do in the short term, but more so the potential of what it can kind of unlock in the future. And so I'm definitely very bullish on NFT technology and gotten to work on some fun projects and really excited about upcoming future projects.
Yeah, it's just the beginning, right?
Yep.
Awesome. Well, welcome. Tony, do you want to give a little background on yourself?
Yeah, and I have a very similar story to you, Blake. I'm a little bit older, I'm 44, but for the first 10 years of my professional career, I was a high school basketball coach slash math teacher. I'm the son of two public school teachers, immigrant public school teachers, South Louisiana. Played basketball in high school, played basketball in college, Kansas Wesleyan University, small NAI school, but great experience. We won the league when I was a senior. A couple of years we went back and got inducted into the Kansas Wesleyan University Hall of Fame. So it was pretty cool. Went into essentially the family business. It's what I always wanted to do. And there's a lot of stuff that happened, but I went to work for Obama for America in 2012, and I learned digital marketing from the very best and brightest people ever.
Yeah.
And I decided that that's what I wanted to do moving forward. So I kind of put education and coaching to the side. And I'll be real with everyone, I taught so I could coach, like other places like California. I ended up moving to LA in 2004. That had a lot to do with it too, from Louisiana. So kind of got around, entertainment and whatnot. And yeah, I've only been with MakersPlace since December. Like a lot of people in the pandemic, I got laid off from my tech job in July. It was severance, chill. I was selling legal tech. It was a good gig. But the court stopped and I sold software to lawyers. And so that didn't work anymore. So I went right to work for Joe, went work for Joe's campaign as an advanced volunteer organizer and did that. And then after the election, I'm like, well, I got to find a job. And MakersPlace was the first people I started to kind of engage with. And it was simple for me. My two of my co-founders were early employees at Pinterest. There's that. It's crypto. I had done some crypto before, and it's art, and I love art. When I first got into digital marketing, that's what I want to do. I want to work with artists. So, and what's so crazy about this whole thing, Blake, is that we're talking about TO. T.O. and I played in the same run in the marina on Saturday mornings at this guy Bob's house, this amazing sport court in the Sterling's, the Strand in the marina. We even go eat lunch at Islands, and that's about the only other time I ever go eat at the Islands is T.O. So like, cool, let's go.
Is that where is Islands? Is that on Washington?
The end of Washington.
Yeah. I spent some time down in LA. I was in like Santa Monica and Venice, but I would always drive down to Porto to surf, and like end up just down at like the Venice piers, like Washington.
The Washington Square is kind of where a lot of cool stuff happens.
Yeah.
So it's just so interesting. I mean, like,
small world.
T.O.'s a great dude, and look, and let him know when you see him that I mean, the NFL Hall of Fame is cool, but he can't shoot like me, and he knows that, and he probably hates it. So
yeah. Well, I'm sure he appreciates the smack talk, man. You got to be able to take it if you dish it.
Oh my God, dude.
Yeah.
You get the full T.O. experience. I'll tell you that.
I bet.
And we'll get into, your partnership with T.O. here in a second, but I want to kind of take it back. I want to explain NFTs as if we were explaining it in kindergarten, right? So because there are a lot of people who have no idea, right? I feel like you guys are up here, I'm probably somewhere in here, but NFTs is a baby, right? We didn't grow up having NFTs. We grew up having baseball cards and selling that type of stuff, right? Which is in a similar world, but not NFTs. Tony, do you want to take a first stab at elementary explanation what non-fungible tokens are?
Sure. So think of the NFT, the non-fungible token, and don't get lost in the weeds of the fund. It's a digital asset that exists on the blockchain. So like I'm trying to, I don't know the audience exactly, but like just think of it, it's a digital collectible that is verifiable along the blockchain. And when you say blockchain, people kind of get lost in the weeds. Think of it as a piece of art. Think of it as a baseball card. But the unique prop is that, at least as it goes with us, but it's the same thing about NBA Top Shot. You're connecting that brand or that player or that artist directly to the owner, and it's verifiable. It's public information. If I buy one of Blake's NFTs, it's very clear that Tony bought it, how much it was bought for, the day it was bought, and the ledger line. So like we are connected. And the other thing that's interesting about tokens or NFTs is that the Ethereum blockchain is going to be around a lot longer than any of us. So it really is like, and what's so crazy is that, and we'll get into like, people kind of jumping in March and trying to do a cash grab, and like, and I can talk about where we were 6 months ago and where we are today. But these tokens are going to live forever. You go put some BS up on OpenSea, unless you burn it, it's pretty funny. I don't know who the guy is, but it's like these celebrities were doing NFTs, and this guy was just buying them up and burning them just to do it. But yeah, I'm sorry if that's not.
Can I give it a shot?
Yes. Yeah. Go ahead.
Cool. All right. NFT, non-fungible token. Fungible means interchangeable for something else, like a dollar. Dollars are fungible because it doesn't matter if you have that dollar or that dollar, they're both worth the same amount. Non-fungible means it's literally like a unique one of one. And like he said, lives on the blockchain. I would consider the blockchain a special part of the internet that is a decentralized, which means there's no single governing body, and it's a public ledger, meaning every single transaction is always viewable. And so all of that added together basically makes a digital asset, which could be a painting, it could be a JPEG, a video, a song, could be anything. And it is verifiably authentic and verifiably scarce. And I know that, I mean, we're saying the same thing. I've just,
I think you're a little more eloquent, and I literally just talk about NFTs all day, every day.
Yeah. Well, I've had like, I've been fortunate to work with a lot of art.
Some people you have to like break it down to them, like if I'm talking to some some teenagers is going to be different if I'm trying to explain it to my mother, you know? So it's like, it's just, you got to know your audience.
Yep.
Totally. And
Yeah,
so I from my perspective, and I haven't gone through this process, which I do want to get to here in phase 2 of this conversation, but from my perspective, you take from a traditional asset of a baseball card, for example, you have to take this card, a physical product, you have to get it verified by a third party source. And then if I want to turn it around and put it on eBay, then I can sell it. But there's that transitional process is very archaic, right? And then this basically just simplifies it and it makes everything trackable. Is that accurate to say?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
And baseball cards can get damaged. And
Yes.
NFT is always a perfect 10. There's only, it's either exists and is perfect or doesn't exist at all.
Yeah. And look, I mean, I was collecting Topps baseball cards in the 80s, like most kids my age. And, you know, honestly, these days baseball kind of makes my eyes bleed, but like we don't know how many I mean, I guess we know now, but like you didn't know how many they were making back then. You know, you were just trying to complete the set. And then it's again, I might be getting ahead of myself, but it just really collecting NFTs is very much, it's like a collectible, like anything else, just like people collect stuff, like people are into stuff. I'm a bit of a minimalist. The only stuff that I really own is old world analog art. You know, I bought some still photography. I'm in San Francisco right now, and it's the first real life art piece that I saw, and you know, it's so collecting NFTs is just like anything else. Like, and so here's the other thing too, and I think, and I don't, Mark Cuban seems like a cool guy. I don't really like Shark Tank, but I heard him say something pretty smart the other day. There's like, buy an NFT because you really want it. Don't buy it thinking that you're going to flip it and you're going to make $1 million. Like that shit's not happening anymore. Excuse me. I don't know. Like,
You're allowed to cuss.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So I think that's some really good advice. Like if you're into this artist or you're into this athlete and you want to be part of the future of digital collectibles, get yourself an NFT.
Gotcha. That makes sense. And so this is sports and business. Blake, how did you even so you're artist, right?
Yeah.
How did you get into athletes? Did you start with athletes? Did you get introduced to this world and then you're like, oh my God, this just fits really well? And obviously the NFT is a progression of that, but how did you get into sports and athletes in general?
I knew when I started painting full time that carving out a niche would be important. And so at first I just sold to people within my network. And then I took time and looked at all of the people that bought the work, and probably not coincidentally, because of like what the industry I was coming from, all of these people were like tech companies, PR firms, marketing agencies. And so at first my focus was I make art for offices. And my goal was to like find customers or clients where they were, you know, just raised a Series A round, they're moving out of a co-working space into their own space, and they want to add some dope art to the walls.
It's a special time for startups.
Yeah, exactly. And I got to like work with some really cool companies that way. It was delivering work in Las Vegas just on a random trip. And I met this guy named Jared Faison who played in the NFL and now manages NFL players. And he really liked my work. We hit it off, and he suggested that I paint 3 of his clients for free to get my foot in the door, and ensuring me that they would post about it on social media. And in this case, I would get to meet them and deliver it. And so I did that. CJ Anderson was my first athlete I ever painted. He's also Bay Area kid from Vallejo, went to Berkeley. You know, I'm right across the water. And so we immediately hit it off, gave him a painting. He almost immediately bought another paint, like a second painting. And so I definitely like immediately saw this like return on like working with athletes and it being a good thing. I did grow up like watching sports, playing sports, collecting sports cards. And so it was relevant to me. And I never looked back, man. I think after I dropped off that painting to CJ, I like immediately updated my LinkedIn to say I make dope art for offices to I paint professional athletes, and just ran with it. And
who were the other 2? CJ Anderson, I believe, had some good fantasy production for me a couple of years back.
Yep. Yeah, it was coming off his Super Bowl win with the Broncos, which is great.
Broncos, dope. I didn't realize he's a Bay Area kid. That's awesome.
Yeah, he went to Berkeley, and he's building this sports complex in Vallejo, kind of.
I mean, so one of my teammates is my college teammates. I'll name drop Brian Gardier. Is from Piedmont, and is still actually he's very much a basketball professional. He's the girls coach at Piedmont, but he also trains athletes, trains a lot of the pros around here. As you know, like on the hoop side, there's a bunch of cats here in the Bay. So
yeah, and so the other two to answer that question is Corey Leggett and Jaleel Adai. Both were on the Chargers at the time.
Okay.
Lineman and safety. Jaleel's still playing for sure. I believe he's on the Texans. But yeah, I mean, all super nice people.
Right.
And we're great. And I think that it was meeting Jared at the right time that got me in, and then I just never looked back. And I just
so how did you meet Terrell?
So I have worked with a handful of Max's management clients. Terrell is one of them. And yeah, I had worked through with Max, like kind of his roster of talent to see specifically for an NFT project who we think would be a good fit, both in like personality type and like mindset of, like you mentioned, the cash grab in March of, everyone, we all want to make some money. Like we don't work on things just to work on them, but we definitely tried to set the expectations of like, this is a long-term project. This is an endurance race. And he was very cool with that and has been, we're still, oh man, I guess I'll start at the beginning. So we came up with an idea after having a few different, FaceTimes with him, talking to him about his career and what we might want to do in an NFT project. And something we decided we wanted to focus in on was his touchdown celebrations, his end zone celebrations that he was so well known for. And so, we had this list and we went through and got all his favorites. And we asked him if he had like other, touchdown celebrations that he never got to do that he sees now and wishes he was able to do. Go ahead.
No, I just wondering why. I'm looking at it right now, man. Like you guys are on OpenSea. Like, I mean, we can definitely talk about it another day. But man,
come
on over to MakersPlace, man.
Dude,
like,
okay, listen.
It's cool.
Listen,
no.
Dude, I applied to MakersPlace the same time I applied to every platform, and I've tried every single platform except for MakersPlace because they never got back to me. So if you want to go pull the strings, that's fantastic.
That's
like, I applied before you were there, so it was early.
Oh wow!
I was on Super Rare last June. I was in Super Rare a year ago.
Understood.
So, and I've tried them all, man. I've tried Zora, OpenSea, Rareable. I'm trying to do everything, at least everything.
No, and that's what good hustling ass artists do, and we've got lots of them. And here's
we got a project dropping on Block Party.
You can go drop on Nifty, and that's fine. You can go on Foundation, and you can go wherever.
Not anyone can just go drop on Nifty. The only date, so like at the beginning of the year, the only date I could get in Nifty was going to be in June, which was 6 months out, and we didn't want to wait that long. We were trying to go. So
yeah, I know. Yeah, it's we can definitely have a conversation after this call for sure.
Great.
That won't be a problem at all. The thing with us though, you have to understand, we are going to do sports drops, but like these are the ones we've done. Patrick Mahomes.
Yep. You did that the Manning.
That was the first one.
You did the Manning.
And that wouldn't make $4 million today.
Nope.
It's a different market.
I know.
Second was Francis Negrano. The only reason we would have even touched it is because Boss Logic did the art, and everyone on this call knows Boss Logic is dope. The third one was the Mannings.
Mm-hmm.
I can speak at length about this. We learned a lot. I think they learned a lot. I worked intimately close on that project. The fourth one was Manchester City, which there was a lot going on there too, that I can unpack to a certain extent. And then I just and this one was real tough. I can't tell you who yet, but we're going to go with an NBA guy. Because with us, with sports, like there's lots of places for sports NFTs, NBA Top Shot, OpenSea, all this stuff. But at MakersPlace, it's about curation and it's about blue chip talent. And whether that's athletes or whether that's, you know, photographers or whether it's musicians, we just want to work with the best. TO, I mean, like I said, this guy's an acquaintance.
We would have done MakersPlace if I had the opportunity to work with makers on that drop, it would have been on that platform. For sure.
Well,
100%.
Well, we
But,
will,
you know,
we will pick this up.
Yeah. And I can tell you, I mean, we have Tim Thomas, which we were planning for Block Party, is flexible. I don't know if Tim Thomas, Bruins hockey goalie, won a Stanley
Thomas,
Cup
the hooper that played at Villanova.
No, Tim Thomas, hockey goalie, Bruins, won a Stanley Cup exactly 10 years ago.
So I mean, so here's the rub, right?
He bought. He was the man. He got league MVP, goalie, like the goalie of the year award. And he basically.
Blake, I'll tell you how it goes, man. Like with us, it depends who's doing the art. Now, my co-founders are, two of them are for Canada and one of them is from India, and they all live in the Bay Area. They've all been here about 15 years. Two of the three of them aren't real big sports fans. Like, I'm the resident sports guy here at MakersPlace. So like I didn't know who Tim Thomas was, right? And I'm kind of a sports guy. So like that I'm sure he sounds like an awesome guy. But like, I mean, I just rattle, like, we've done 5.
Yeah.
Drops.
I've heard of 3 of those guys.
Right.
So you know, right. So I get it, man. I'm not going to, I don't need to, I'll work with the platforms that are excited to work on the projects I'm working on. And Tim Thomas happens to be the next one. The person after that is someone that you know. Person after that is someone that you know. Person after that is someone that you know. Both between NBA and NFL. And we'll chat.
Come on over.
We'll chat.
No, like we have 2 engagements, right? We have the drop, which I mean, I'll tell people at Nifty this. I tell everyone every day, like, the MakersPlace drop is the premier artist engagement in the global NFT space right now, bar none. Beeple, Christie's, $69.3 million. Like, that was the big bang of the NFT industry. Everything got real weird after that. And like, so now we're here in June, and it's, for us, there's Nifty Gateway. They do a lot of volume, but they're also flooding the market. A lot of people say they don't like working with them. They prefer to work with us. Super Rare, they do one-on-ones, and they've been around too. Like, so about 3 years ago, it was Super Rare and MakersPlace, like OGs in the space. Crypto Kitties before that. Then Nifty came along with the Twins and Gemini. And so, and Foundation is doing some interesting things, I think. Like the whole like Clubhouse and the artists invite artists. Their UI is just better. Our UI is getting a lot better. Our head of design, Keith, worked with it's very, very topical for sports related. Worked with Yash and Danny back at Pinterest. He left Pinterest to go design apps and websites for Nike as their head of design. He is now head of design at MakersPlace. So
for those of you who don't know, that all of these are different platforms that these NFT lives on, and people can essentially purchase those. For those who aren't
sorry, no, we were just I can't.
I know you guys are starting to venture off into what are you talking about for me land, which is all good. I want to learn.
No,
I do want to talk about, so Blake's, your process of like, you get these athletes, right? And say, I want to do NFT. And I'm sure February, March, you had 8,000 athletes that hit you up and said, I want to do something. What is your process? How do you select them from, and then how do you go, even maybe talk about the TO part of like, okay, you went through that creative process. How long does that take to just get to the point of like, here's what the artwork is going to be?
It takes a while. I mean, and I think that like a lot of that was driven by the volatility of the NFT market and, the crazy peaks, and then everyone wants to jump in, and then there's valleys or crashes or whatever, and everyone's all skeptical. And like, I think that we were just really trying to find the right fits, because I mean, you're right, the phone didn't stop ringing of people wanting to do it. And usually with just a quick phone call, I could figure out if they were just like looking to cash in and make a quick buck, or if they were trying to like build community. And that actually kind of ties back to like talking about an NFT as an asset. I think that NFTs are also going to change the entire ticketing industry. And so like, there's no reason that StubHub or Ticketmaster isn't going to come in and make their tickets NFTs, and you're just going to pay extra if you want the ticket stub. And so, because then again, it's provably authentic and provably scarce. And if you want to collect the ticket, you pay a little extra and they'll mail you a ticket. And I just think that that's like, it's going to change a lot of stuff. And so because of that, like, we don't know exactly like how an NFT is going to fit into the mix for building a personal brand as an athlete in 5 years. But I do think that it will have a piece in that puzzle. And so I don't think it's a good look for athletes. And I tell them this, of just to like throw something out to make money fast. Like, think about this and think about, if nothing else, like, what can you do to really wow the fans that do support you in your NFT project? And so with that, all of that in mind, it was a lot of like a vetting process. And we talked to like some big names and top talent. And there were cases where they, you know, they were also talking to other creative teams or artists or whatever. And there were times where they would say, hey, we're going to go with this other guy. And there were times when I say, hey, like, we can't do this project, but here's some introductions to other people if you want to execute this, or here's advice on like how I would roll this out. Like, I just can't execute it for you. So there was a lot of that, and that was good. Like, you know, and it's just like you saying, oh, this is starting to go over my head. That's been a fun part of this journey, and is like, there's so much knowledge, and just understanding that there's so much that you don't know. And this goes for anybody anywhere in life, like is such a valuable tool. And so like, I've always come into any conversation or environment with a lot of curiosity, and, you know, love to talk about my stories, but also love to hear other people's stories and opinions and takes on things. And so I felt with TO, we vibed. We had the same kind of, we were able to kind of convey what I think the future of NFTs could unlock for people building personal brands. TO had a very personal experience that NFT would have saved him from, where like, he had a storage locker with his most prized possessions, signed jersey from Joe Montana, his high school jersey, you know, all this memorabilia in a storage locker in Atlanta. You know, credit card at some point gets replaced on his end, but they never call for the updated number. So they end up auctioning off all his stuff to one person. And so he's out trying to track down his own shit. And it's like, with an NFT, that would never happen, right? I mean, granted, there are security risks with NFTs. If you lose your seed phrase, which is basically a very long password that you're given when you make your NFT account, like kind of bank account. If you forget that, you lose access. It's decentralized. There's no one you can call. But in this case, like,
customer service
there's no customer service, no hotline. Yeah, so we got T on board, and it just seemed like a great fit, and he was okay with like taking time to really like build it into something memorable and special. And, you know, we were looking at things like the Mahomes drop had just happened, and that was like, I consider like, that's one of, I think eventually will be 3 most iconic sports drops in NFTs. If you're looking at like the origin stories, I think that Gronk being first is important. I think that Mahomes doing it first, like properly, is important. And I do think this TO project, the NFT Gallery Museum, which I'll get into like more of like why I think this will be important. But to me, those are like all iconic things. So we're looking at Gronk, we're looking at Mahomes, saying like, what can we do to like add to the space, to add to the energy, to add to like what's possible. And so while I think like the Mahomes art was absolutely beautiful, I know it was a design team. I think it's a team of a couple people, right, that made those assets. They were beautiful, but I wanted Tio is like, well, what if we just do a whole museum? And I'm like, fucking love that idea. And so we got a bunch of artists, and I'm a sports artist, so I know other sports artists. So I pulled in talent, and everyone's bringing their own audiences and their own artistic style to a different end zone celebration of TO.
I just saw the museum for the first time, and again, I apologize. Like, if someone doesn't tell me what's happening on one of the other platforms, yep, I don't know that it's going on.
Yep. And so for people watching too,
the art. I love 81, the popcorn. You made him look super handsome with his with his coat. No, it's dope. Like, again, it's how I'm wired. I'm like, so why don't we talk about this TO drop? Like, so,
and if people watching want to see it, so if you go to 81, the number 81.gallery is the website. So 81.gallery has a kind of a video tour walkthrough, as well as like information and links to all the pieces, as well as the artists involved. And so I just thought it was a fun way to build community. TO also came to the table saying, I know you're doing an NFT with me, but there's someone else, this guy that wants to do one with me, and I want to do it with everyone. And I'm like, great, work with everybody that you want to. And so then we started opening it up and saying, okay, we'll take applications, and we have hundreds of applications that now we're sorting through and figuring out who's going to be added. And the gallery is just going to keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
That's cool.
And our plan eventually, and I know this might be taking it beyond NFTs, but is to build that space in what's called the metaverse, which is a virtual world online. There's a few different platforms, and we want that to be kind of this Decentraland. Yep. We're looking at Somnium Space, which is interesting. They have a virtual reality like headset tie-in.
Like they're literally popping up everywhere. Like, and like for people that are like thinking that they're gonna go and like build an NFT marketplace, just know that like we have world-class engineers and stuff breaks all the time. And you got a lot of people's money hanging out and a lot of vulnerabilities. And so you gotta be working with some smart blockchain developers.
I completely agree. I think that people are thinking, I want to make an NFT and get rich off that, or I'm going to make the place where people sell the NFTs and get rich off that. And unless you have a world-class team, it's probably not entering that race. But, you know, I will say there are other big players. You know, OpenSea raised a lot of money, and I know from their team some changes that are going to be super dope. Binance is coming, when is that? Like in a month? And they're, you know, backed by Gemini Exchange. I mean, they're huge. They're coming with money and talent, and they're coming for the top spot. So like even MakersPlace with the top talent can't settle, man. You got to push the boundaries.
I mean, no, look, we're no, like totally bring it. Like we're one of the leaders. And you know, I'm obviously, you know, a pretty competitive dude, and
really
like win as much as the next dude. So like, yeah, no, I hear what you're saying, and like, and Tim, thank you so much. This has been an absolute treat. Like, I'm learning, you know, like I didn't know anything about the Binance thing. You know, I didn't even know what you're. I didn't know that TO had an NFT gallery. You know,
it's just, and so sometimes having those blinders on within your own platform, I think, is a good thing. But sometimes just taking a little peek around to see what's on your left and right.
You're
like, right. I mean, like, okay, here another great example. Are you following like Zed Run?
Yeah,
dude, Zed Run is blowing up, right? I would be looking, if I were Makers. Exactly. If I were a MakersPlace, I would have a fucking department to be like, we need to deconstruct and reverse engineer Zed Run so that we can capture that lightning in a bottle.
Zed Run, okay.
You want to explain what that is, Blake?
It's you buy these NFTs that are digital horses.
Digital horse racing.
And there's digital horse racing. And if you pay Ethereum to enter the horse race, if your horse wins, you win Ethereum. Like the changes that are building off of that are freaking insane. You can take two horses and you can mate them, breed your horses and breed a new horse, and then you can sell those horses. Dude,
wait, I can't because I love to bet on the ponies, right? Like, but like, do I have to like train and breed the horses?
Not currently. No, not currently.
Wow.
That's you know, that was just that's massive.
And so I spent me and my manager spent one day being like, we need to figure this out. And so because it's complicated to buy, it's its own platform, it has its own chain that they're stored on and raced on, but you still like can buy them on the secondary market on OpenSea. But the OpenSea is not,
now that I do have something that I want to share about MakersPlace specifically that that was very related, is that we have a new mechanic, if you will. Hold on, I need to look at you guys again. We were gonna try it. We were gonna try it before, but it's still kind of waiting to go. But we're gonna call it, I believe, shuffle. But you can also replace the word shuffle with pack, blind box, pull, chance. So where you would set a fixed price. So let's just say $9.99. With us, if it's the low these days, the lowest I'd like to see an open edition on MakersPlace go for is $4.99. That's kind of the lowest barrier to entry, and it's tough. But again, you can buy
like $500, right? $499.
$499, I think, is like a baseline
Yep.
open edition price right now with the MakersPlace drop, depending on what the set is. But so let's say this pack is $4.99. For the collector side, and so it's going to be random, right? Like, and so say we have a group of 10, like, you know, like say, you know, it's a basketball team and we got 13 of them, and you buy a pack and you get what you get. Well, we all remember like with maybe not something, but you had the coin and you turn a thing and you get the egg and you get your prize, and if you're stoked, you're good. But what you're going to probably do is you're going to keep feeding it quarters and like see what else you can get, see if you can collect the set. So it's really, really interesting from a collector experience, because make no qualms, like none of this happens without dope artists and then
Top Shot's doing
collectors
it. Top
that
Shot's
want
doing exactly
the
that.
product.
Yeah,
And
well,
so-
Top Shot's doing it with video highlights.
Exactly. And
So,
so, but on a revenue standpoint, it's really, really interesting too. So that's something that we're going to be rolling out with. We think it's going to do really well with
When does that roll out?
with sports and comic. It really honestly just rolls out when we have a project where we feel it's appropriate and if their team is kind of into it.
That's cool.
A Maker's
like that a
Place
lot.
drop usually lives around 4 to 8 pieces. When you do too many, and Walter Oos Jr., amazing sports photographer, his first drop was too many. We had 14 pieces. The Michael Jordan 1 of 1 went for $55K. Awesome. But I've still got some Michelle Kwans and Michael Phelps that are sitting on the shelf. You never want that. You want to price it to move. You want to make it scarce. Same thing with the Manning drop. There was too many pieces. You know,
I love
more
JK.
pieces.
JK5 is
more-
one of my favorite artists. I love
JK5 is dope, and Mike Johnson's cool guy. You know, it's all good, man. You know.
Yeah.
So walk us through. I know we're getting close to running out of time, which unfortunately I could talk about or just listen to you guys talk all day because I think it's super interesting. But so we've had some athletes come on board. Obviously, you said the Mahomes wouldn't do that $4 million in a weekend. Blake, you said that you're creating a gallery with TO. What is the best way for athletes to look at this? For you, Blake, you mentioned a couple of times community building, but what does that even mean, right? So if an athlete approaches either of you, what are we doing and what advice are you giving to those athletes to help them build this NFT community world asset revenue, right?
Yep.
I'll start with you, Blake.
So, yeah, I mean, so beyond just the physical, you know, the picture, the video, whatever you're getting with your NFT, I like to encourage athletes and all creators to just think about all of the different possibilities that what that could mean and how that would like benefit your audience and serve them in a way that would like keep them coming back to you. And so with TO, we decided to make a popcorn NFT, which is just a small spinning popcorn animation.
I love it, by the way. Love it.
Thank you. And then we just started gifting them to people, and we gifted out a lot of popcorn.
and it's fun because, you know, that's also some people's first NFT. And so we wanted to take a minute to educate like TO's fans and get them to get an NFT, and then they have their popcorn. And what that did is that was created on Rarible because I think that the unlockable content angle is very interesting to me. And so we had when you own the NFT, a little button pops up that says unlock or view unlockable content. We ported that to a website that we could control. And so when we decided to open the gallery and unveil all the art and introduce the artists that were involved, we first invited all popcorn holders to have 24 hours to preview everything that we were working
That's
on.
cool.
We also had a private Discord group that we had people join, and like TO would pop in there from time to time, which is hilarious. He popped into Discord with just the name Handsome in all caps and no avatar. And he's like, hey, it's TO. And like, I thought it was somebody trolling. And so I'm texting him being like, is that really you? He's like, of course. I'm like, okay.
That's great.
Yeah. So, you know, so right now, and then with popcorn holders, we did a contest where it's like whoever, we did one that was a giveaway of signed cleats, one that was a giveaway of signed jerseys, and we're just doing like random popcorn holders. And, you know, in the future, as we expand this virtual museum, add more artists, add new art, we also hope to add more utility to what having the popcorn means. And so that could be something where eventually it translates into the real world, where if you have the popcorn NFT, you're invited to Terrell Owens Super Bowl party. you know, at a bar or whatever, like whatever. Like it could be.
That's the stuff there, and I'm 100% in agreement. Like we're just getting started.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah, I love that. True community building with that.
Yep. Yeah. And so, yeah, I mean, I think that, look, I would have loved to sell out all the TO pieces for sure in a weekend. But the reality is the market has softened a lot with NFTs. There's people are flooded with projects. And then also the space in general is still new, that like there's almost everyone knows about NFTs and has heard about it if they're on the internet, but such a small fraction of those people have a wallet where they could actually buy crypto, like buy an NFT with crypto, like the tiniest fraction of the people.
And so that's where we are really able to shine, is that you're able to come
credit
to
card processing,
as a collector and sign up with an email and a credit card.
That's amazing.
And you can accept USD and you can accept ETH.
Yep.
So we make it real easy to own. And look, there are a lot of people that are just sitting there with some with a $10,000 Patrick Mahomes Open Edition, and they're like, "Uh-oh, what am I going to do with this?" Now, as it relates to sports stuff, like you're right. Like Gronk did go first, and then Patrick came, and again, I can unpack each one of those as a case study about what went well and what didn't go well. Because remember, with us, Silicon Valley tech company, everything we do is based in data. Now we've been able to tell a pretty good narrative over the this time, and you have folks like myself that can actually like talk to sports agents, which is its own kind of thing. But as far as when an athlete comes to us, and there were a bunch, I would tell them that you need to have a creative team inbound, and the art's got to be insane, because a lot of people are like, yo, like, can we just come and like, can y'all make it for us and sell it? I'm like, it's not how it works.
Do all the work and I'll sit here. Yeah.
But what I do now is that if I have an interesting talent that is looking for an art direction, I will make an introduction to one of our drop artists. Man City, they used John Norlander, who is one of our drop artists, but they already came as a package, so it was easy. But like the Diplo, we just did Diplo and Jose Delbo. Jose Delbo's the OG comic guy in the space. His grandson Nick, kind of manages him now, and like Jose Delbo is just a monster, and he's going to be collabing with everybody. There is a very famous football player, Hall of Fame quarterback that you might see here coming up. But like I'm real, Blake. Like let's talk. Like I'll send you like Tim, hook us up on email. I'll
connect you guys.
I'll just send you the MakersPlace invite, and so you'll be on the platform.
Let's
go. Like let's talk about like think about like what Terrell's MakersPlace drop. Yes, please. I don't think he even knows my last name, but if you just tell him Tony from the Marina Run, he'll know who you're talking about.
There we go. So how much I won my fantasy football league. If I bring Blake in, do a drop on MakersPlace, how much am I making off this? Do we have to build some popcorn community type stuff?
So you say you're in fantasy football team, and
I won it. Yeah, I won it.
So you want like your team trophy to be like an NFT?
Yeah.
My guys, we have a belt. That's interesting. I guess you could do that.
We have a belt as well, but I want to move this.
And then the token transfers each year. Wow.
And Blake will design it.
Kind of cool.
Okay. Well, you're gonna make one for the most ultimate fantasy football league first, and that's my year-old fantasy league. So man, that's cool, dude.
Well, I appreciate it. I'll connect you guys on email after this. We got to run, unfortunately, but I definitely want to run this back at some point this summer or something. I know that I'm sure once you guys drop some more stuff, have some more updates, hopefully TO being on MakersPlace potentially, or some other stuff, but definitely want to stay in touch. I appreciate your guys' time. Sure. And we're on to the next one here in about 8 minutes. We're talking to a couple startups. So sweet. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Right on, guys. Hey, man, Blake, it's an absolute pleasure. Tim, thank you so much, man. Y'all be good.
Thanks, guys.
Awesome.